I'm Ian Mackay and we farm here on Torloisk farm on the west coast of Mull, which quite rugged but quite beautiful place to actually farm. We farm it in a very basically traditional manner. There's about 3,000 hectares here. Mostly hill, predominantly hill. There's maybe about 100 acre of grassland. So I've been in Torloisk 15 years now and started off as a contractor, and we got the opportunity to take the tenancy on, and that allowed you to look at investing in the place much easier. It's not an easy opportunity to get nowadays. You know, tenancies are scarce to get, and it's really important that we look at how we get the next generation into agriculture. You know, in agriculture and farming, I was always taught that you should farm as though you're going to live forever. A lot of what we're doing just now, the information we're collecting, the genetic improvement, soil improvement, a lot of that's for future generations, and we should look after what we've got for the next generation. That's really important. We're running beef cattle, Highland cows, traditional cattle, keeping about half of them pure and then half go to the Simmental bull to sell store calves in the back end. Sheep, we've actually bred up from Blackface up to Cheviot. We found they've adapted really well to the hill, and we've got a small stud flock of Cheviots as well, breeding replacement tups. All the sheep now, all the lambs are sold store in Oban. We find that we don't have the capacity here to carry lambs much past weaning. The calves, again, we've in Oban sold store. The bullocks, Simmental bullocks are all sold store, and Simmental cross females go to the breeding sale in Oban. The Highland bullocks, we've got a private buyer for all our Highland bullocks. He goes on to finish them and sells them with the kind of provenance of here and the backstory of Highland beef. And the females mostly sold private. Any surplus female Highlanders we've got there sold privately as calves as well. We became the QMS monitor farm here in 2011. We were the monitor farm for Argyllshire, and that ran for 3 years. With the programme we were looking at the grasslands, mostly in the NBI. We had a look at cattle margins, and then with the NBI linked into that was what we were going to do to try and improve the sheep margins on the NBI, how we were going to run an NBI flock. On top of that was one of the big problems we've got here is bracken, utilising a huge amount of good ground, so we looked into the most effective ways to control bracken. There was quite a lot of focus on the bracken. The monitor farm project itself was really surprising. Being on the island, you would think you wouldn't attract that many people, but often we were attracting numbers between 40 and 50 people, and quite a lot of them were actually coming from off island as well, over to see what we were doing. And the opportunity to then bring on, you know, experts in certain different fields was great, and that relationship between them and farmers then communicating with each other, exchanging knowledge, the ideas that were sort of bandied about and questioned. It was a more relaxed atmosphere. You weren't in a building somewhere, you weren't in a college somewhere. It was farmer driven. You know, we started to focus in on the different aspects of the business as well, and that changed our mindset. You know, looking forward, not being inhibited, like, you know, and often in agriculture you're frightened to try new things. Well, that gave us the confidence with the technology we were given access to as well. That gave us the confidence to try new things. And on the whole, yeah, most of them have been successful, not them all, but nothing is, but don't be frightened to get out there and try it. I think it's really important that, you know, things like the monitor farm continue, the knowledge exchange that we got from that between farmers, and just continued personal development within those. I think it's important that these facilities are supported for the future. Since the monitor farm project, we've done a lot on the agri-environmental side. And through the EECS, we've been assisted to do that. There's a lot of vulnerable species here that exist here and now, and through that scheme it's allowed us to maintain it. You can see the mosaic of habitat we have. You know, there's moorland, there's woodland, hazel scrub. We've got a great opportunity to look after those species and utilising the herbivores we have, the grazing of the cattle and the sheep, utilising that properly and seeing and monitoring what's happening. Allows us to look after those vulnerable species. You know, eagles here, we've got rare moths here, marsh fertility. It's all here because of the way we've been farming, but we still need to make sure we look after that and ensure that those numbers don't suffer. Here, you know, as land managers, you know, it's really important that we look after these species, but it's not always easy to do it just with the income from farming alone, and that's what agri-environmental schemes enable us to look after these species, in order to put in sort of fencing in certain areas to allow the grass to come through, to plant areas if we need to utilise stock in different ways to move them about. All that is enabled through these schemes. You know, the monitor farm really opened up our minds to the broader aspects of agriculture, and we're not just here producing a food product, but as a food product with tight margins, and there's a lot more we need to do regards to the environment. And the schemes we've got out there, if it's the right scheme put in place, if it's the right support payments put in place, that enables us to face some of those challenges. One of the key species we have here is the sea eagle. We all know, you know, the effect it has on agriculture with predation on lambs. But the sea eagle scheme enabled us to put up a polytunnel, and we're lambing about 300 ewes inside there now. And we have seen a difference there in percentage terms of the lambs we're bringing off that hill now. We've seen a difference there. So if we get the right support in the proper places, you know, it allows us to meet those challenges today, because we are here and ready and willing to face all those challenges, but we do need the backing. The Monitor Farm, you know, sort of introduced us to the use of technology, and what I was interested in how I could translate that from a lowland flock up to an extensive hill flock. And the other aspect I was interested in was the record keeping, how that could aid with that, with me being dyslexic as well. I found that really interesting. It could simplify record keeping for me. So we got a handheld stock recorder, and all the information's in there, every animal's in there. So it's really easy when you're handling animals, you put in every bit of information you need. You can record all sort of birth dates of lambs, lamb weights, any problems you have with the flock. And that's helped us to, especially in one of the hill places, is standardise the size of the sheep. So when we're dosing these animals, we know exactly what we're dosing them with and how much we have to dose them. And the quality of lamb, the more standardised lambs coming off the hill as well, has also helped with marketing lambs as well. Although all this recording and technology is modern, it's nothing new. I mean, shepherds, you know, we used to have more shepherds in the hill, and they knew their flocks really well. They knew what the problems were. But nowadays, you know, we can't afford those wages, and we don't have the people, the skills aren't there anymore. And it's not replaced the shepherd, but it's helped us sort of obtain that information really quickly. We can get into the office at night, sit down, look up what we're going to go through the next day. We can highlight the ewes we want to draw off, any problems that's going away. When we're going through the ewes in the back end to draw out the flock, any ewes that are going to get cast, we've got them highlighted and they come up in the stock recorder and off they go. So the technology has helped us with animal welfare and production efficiencies, which obviously that's linking into our carbon footprint as well. And if we've got more productive animals, we're obviously helping with the carbon as well. You know, over and above just food production here, you know, we've got to meet the climate change challenges as well, look after biodiversity. All those are public benefits that are supported in the right way. We can deliver them. We're ready and willing to face all those challenges, and we are part of the answer.